I was at a breakfast meeting the other day, and the waitress delivered a full plate to a man at a table near us. Now, of course, that's not unusual to see in a breakfast place, but I remember the moment because before even tasting his food, the man took his salt shaker and just doused his whole plate, even the pancakes. Now, I don't like salty food. I'm not a big fan of potato chips, that kind of thing. But even I can tell when something isn't seasoned very well. So, salt has to be mixed in to bring out other flavors in the food, such as like a little salt in a cookie or a cake recipe. It just makes the sweetness and the flavors even more vibrant. Jesus said, "You are the salt of the earth." Now, note that Jesus didn't say you are to become salt, but that by virtue of being a disciple, by being someone who follows Jesus, that each of us is salt. And it was a striking image then, just as it is now, because it's strange. Just like thinking about how can we be light or salt? What does it mean for us as disciples of Jesus that we are salt? Well, as I said, salt has to be mixed. It has a good effect when it mixed into a dish. I don't know any good cook who says, well, yeah, I keep a bowl of kosher salt right next to the stove. Isn't that enough? They don't use it for anything. Yet in a way, that's what Jesus is talking about. He talks about salt losing its saltiness. But if we actually heard the original language that Jesus is speaking in, he talks about salt becomes moros, which from we derive the word moron or fool. So if salt becomes foolish, Jesus asks, what good is it? Salt has a definite purpose. And if we don't use it for that purpose, then the salt becomes foolish to have around. Might as well just throw it on the ground and trample it. Jesus also says, you are the light of the world. And so let's think about light in the way that we just wondered about salt. Most every living thing needs both salt and light. But light helps us distinguish the difference and celebrate diversity between people. Light can deepen our understanding. Light even works on cellular structures to promote growth. That's why we have light there. Light heals. And light, most of all, helps us find our way. So if we have the light of faith inside of us, then we're supposed to let it shine. We aren't supposed to hide it. And that's where that foolishness comes in again. That's why the kids are laughing at me when I try to put a candle underneath the table. We are salt and light. We are then to be of use, useful in many senses of the word. But for Jesus, ultimately it means that we are to be his light. We need to be enhancers of life. And the implication is that we are the ones who are to continue the work Jesus began. So in order for the world to be a bigger place, if we look at it like a big mixing bowl of cake batter, that Jesus is telling us we have to be mixed up in it in order to make life better, to make life richer, for ourselves and for others. Jesus is telling us it's not enough to simply just do our work in the confines of our homes or of our church here. It's not only enough to nurture our inner spirituality, which of course we have to do so that we can go out, but we're supposed to shine on the world around us. We're supposed to be pouring ourselves out on the earth like salt, the lives around us. Now, Lord knows we live in divided and disquieting times. And sometimes, and I'm one of them, I just want to put my head down and tune everything out. But when we do that, it's like leaving salt by the stove or hiding that candle behind the screen. Someone asked the preacher and writer Eugene Peterson what he would say if he knew he had to write his very last sermon and share it. Eugene Peterson died last year, so I don't know if he actually ever did write his last sermon with that intention. But his reply to that question was, I think I would talk about things that are immediate and ordinary. In the kind of world we live in, the primary way that I can get people to be aware of God is to say, who are you going to have breakfast with tomorrow? And how are you going to treat them? So Peterson suggests that we need to stop thinking that being Christian means that we are only supposed to be part of an obvious religion. Instead, we're supposed to simply live Jesus' way. So we need to pay attention to what the people around us are doing most every day, and then help them do it to the glory of God. So Eugene Peterson said, in my last sermon, I guess I'd want to say, go home and be good to your spouse. Treat your children with respect. Do a good job at work. We need to be salt in the real world, and that involves genuinely being with real people, listening to them well, and treating them as the little images of God that they all are. So let us go forth and be salt, and let our light shine.